Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Karina, and this felt so odd saying after such a long time because I've been absent from here since a really long time, guys. So I don't even know if you remember me, and I don't even blame you for that. But I'm here today and with intentions to show up here more often than I have in the past. So today, it's the 31st, the morning of 31st December, the last day of 2025. And it's very cold in my city right now, and there's a heater right next to me providing some warmth to my feet because my feet tend to get really cold. But today I am going to share with you some horror stories from 2025, basically my worst experiences from the year. I know these are not ghost stories, but these are horror enough still. And I'm gonna do that while I make my favorite cocktail. It's called well, I've named it the Garden Fizz because it has so many fresh ingredients that go into it, and it's just the tastiest, most refreshing cocktail, and it's my own recipe. And I love making cocktails, different blends with fruits and herbs and anything that I can find in my kitchen, basically. And this is my go-to cocktail. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to make that while we talk about my worst experiences of 2025. But I suck at multitasking, so I am not sure how this is going to go, but nevertheless, let's get started. So I have a content studio, and before I get into the kiosk, let me introduce. So I built this content studio in September 2023, and it's been a little more than 2 years, 2.5 years, let's say. But this was my dream project, and I'm actually standing in my studio right now. This is the kitchen set of my studio. It's not an actual kitchen. I mean, it is a functional kitchen, but it also doubles up as a set. And similarly, we have a lot of lifestyle sets in the studio, like a very dreamy bedroom set, a living room set, which is also very dreamy and very wabi-sabi inspired. And then we have a bathtub set. We have a home library set, which is actually still under construction. And apart from that, we also have fancier sets, like more royal sets and larger than life sets. So see, I'm so bad with multitasking. I don't even know what I'm doing, but let's just hope we get there. So I've put in so much love and intention into building the studio, and I think that really shows because people have also told this to me, that they can see my aesthetics over here, like the friends and my followers who've visited the studio. They've always told me this, but it was all very dreamy, very beautiful until our studio got copied. And when I say copied, it got carbon copied, guys. Somebody that also an acquaintance of ours with so many mutuals, because he's from the same industry, he copied our studio as it is, like so many sets, whatever he could make at the studio, whatever sets you will find at his studio, they are like copies, cheap copies of our sets. And I have literally whatever sets that you would find at my studio, you will not find them anywhere, and even in the country or otherwise wherever, because I have genuinely not copied anybody's sets. Like everything over here is super unique, right from the bed set to this kitchen, etc. It's not copied from anywhere. These are my original designs, and I'll see if I can find my notebook from back then, and if I can show you that these are hand drawn sketches of each and every set, not Pinterest pictures, not screenshots of other studios from Instagram, nothing, but purely my own imagination. So when somebody copies your hard work like that, just like that, it just shatters you, it just breaks your heart. And I'm just a little girl with such a weak heart, I feel. But I am somebody who doesn't get upset that often. Lekin when this happened, oh my god, like the million pieces, my heart shattered into. Really, like it was one of my worst heartbreaks of 2025. And I was talking to so many people because sharing is my coping mechanism, which is why I am sharing these things with you today as well. Where was I? Yeah. I'm sorry if you can hear things in the background. This is just our generator because we're experiencing a power cut. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I was saying that I was talking to so many people, and no matter what they were saying, I was just not convinced. But I was in fact snapping back because I was so upset, and even I wasn't understanding what I was feeling from the inside. And I just took my car and took off and just parked it in a very peaceful spot, and I called up a friend of mine and I cried my heart out. And I'm somebody who doesn't cry that often, so it was just very upsetting for me also to see myself like that. But it was really like the worst feeling ever. I completely forgot to mention that these guys, they copied our sets as they are. For example, for the bedroom set, so they copied our bedroom set as well. So they, right from the design, the style, the color, and the bedding, the drapery, etc., everything was copied as it is. Even the walls in the background, they didn't even, care to do a different design. They copied even that as it is. And they also actually tried to copy our kitchen set, but they were probably like short on space, so it's like a mini version of this kitchen set that we have right here, because I wasn't convinced by whatever anybody was telling me. So ultimately I resorted to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is such a good therapist, guys. I spoke to her for good 15-20 minutes or maybe more, and the things that she told me, I like after that 15-20-30 minute session, like I came back as a different person. Like I was feeling so empowered and just so unbreakable. She was talking about how originality is still the biggest asset that I have. Like physical things are always bound to be copied, and it happens all the times with artists and designers, and but like original is always original. And I have heard this phrase a lot, but like I haven't really like fully believed in it. Like it never made sense to me, quite honestly. But then when this happened with me, that's when I understood that really original is original, because no matter what, like even if he's copied our sets as they are today, we are still, touch wood, we are still the #1 studio here in Chandigarh, in my city. And in fact, we have clients flying in from all over the country, and also sometimes from outside of India to shoot here, because really it's actually a one-of-a-kind studio with everything under one roof. And like I said, I've poured in so much heart and intention into it, and it shows. So people can see the difference between our studio and his studio. They can tell that it's just a cheap copy, and ultimately like our service, because we've made it for people. So that has always been our intention, and not like a business, just a business. So we've really thought about our customer before we built this studio. We have everything, literally, not to toot my own horn, but we literally have everything over here under one roof, and people love our studio. So the lesson that I learned from this is to always have faith in my originality and authenticity, and always pour in love and intention in whatever you do. And that's honestly been my mantra even before this. But it's just that I got an even better direction and a great reminder of that. So man for copying our studio, and thank you, actually. You made me even stronger and unbreakable. And the second horror story of 2025 is that my intern killed her father, and you have to stay with me till the end to know what exactly happened, because this is just such a crazy story and the hottest of them all. Trust me, so you just stick till the end. But basically, before I get started, let me tell you how I am as a boss. So I'm a very chill boss. I sing, dance, and we do a lot of things here in the office. And I just want everybody in my team to have a great time, and I want them to be, looking forward to work every single day. So this intern, who is the main subject of the story, she started with us in September end, and I could tell that she was having a lot of fun, and she was looking forward to coming to the office every single day, and everything was going great. Even I was having fun. She was a decent girl. I was telling, I told everybody, like whoever I would talk to and they would ask me how work is, I would always tell people that I got a nice employee or like intern, and everything was great. She always told me that she loved coming to the office, and she always would tell me that she was having a lot of fun with me. So we were laughing, singing, dancing, exercising, gossiping, doing everything in this office and having lots of fun. But at the end of the day, one has to understand that they're on a payroll and they're paid to do certain shit. But I think the boundaries started getting really blurred very quickly over here. Like, she was not taking work seriously anymore. She was not respecting deadlines, timelines, or like anything at all. And she was not taking accountability of anything. She always told me that she wanted to open up her own agency someday. So I would tell her that, problem solving skills are the most important asset that you can have. If you want to open up your own agency later, this is the most important thing that you should have in yourself. But she was still not taking things seriously, and she was putting everything on either me or my partner. Like even something as basic as changing the language of Facebook. Like once I asked her to do this task, and it had to be done via Facebook, and the language of Facebook automatically became Punjabi. I live in a relatively bigger city, so she was from a smaller city in Punjab, and I know for a fact that smaller cities in Punjab, they have Punjabi as a main subject. While I did not have it as a main subject, yet I can read, write, understand and speak in Punjabi. And so I know this for a fact that even she can, but like she would leave all these tasks for us that, oh, I'm not able to change the language, and I'm not able to do this, do that, like very simple things, so these were things that were really irritating me. But I was trying to give her very constructive criticism very constructively. So she was not taking things seriously, she was not taking accountability, and on top of that, she was not completing even 1 or 2 tasks a day. In the beginning of the 3rd month, I told her that you need to give your all and really perform in this 3rd month, and you really need to take things off my plate in this month, because this is what will decide your future with us. Because ultimately I am paying you to make things better for me, to take some workload off me so that I can focus on other founder duties. But I don't know, I think she was here just for fun. She didn't have her head straight, because as soon as I started asking for accountability, she just flipped 180. Like everything was great until I started asking for some basic accountability. So one fine day, like I could go in details, but then this is going to be super long. It needs a video of its own then. But basically, she disappeared one day. She just didn't, call us or like, text us, or like she wasn't picking up our calls or like reverting to our texts either. So like an entire day passed by, and of course she had a lot of pending drafts, etc., like a lot of client work, because we also do content creation for clients. So she had a lot of pending drafts and all with her, and while I had backup for everything, but that wasn't the point. The point was to hold her accountable. So we kept following up, and we gave her an ultimatum. I remember my partner and we had gone for a movie, and we asked her, I'm so sorry if you can hear some background noises, there's actually some renovation going on nearby, so and it's very annoying, it's really distracting me. So whenever I was holding her accountable for anything, I could tell that she was getting very uncomfortable. I don't know what it was, but I could sense something in her body language. Now that I think about it, I think it was anger. And that was her real self, which ultimately came out later. So what happened, my partner, he texted her in the night that, we've been trying to get in touch with you since morning, and these are the list of things that we need urgently. Like, even if you're, because the previous day she did say that, she wanted to go to the hospital, but it was not an emergency, that I know for sure. She always complained about neck pain, and that's what she told us that day also, that she has some neck pain, so she has to go to the doctor. So like, my partner texted her, he gave her like an ultimatum that these are the list of things that we need by hook or by crook by 9 p.m. maximum, because client work is getting hampered because of you. And it's very unprofessional that you're not even letting us know, even if there's an emergency, even if you're sick or whatever. Like, at least let us know. Like, we shouldn't be in the dark, and it just takes a second to leave a message, a second or two. But then ultimately she did respond that night after that message, and she got back saying, I don't know how to respond to your message, but I am actually dealing with a personal loss. I lost my dad, and it was such a long chat GPT message. I knew for a fact that these were not her words. So she was like, I need my time to deal with it, and I need to do it at my own pace, etc. So I would really appreciate if you could give me that time, my own time, etc. So such a long message. So you couldn't leave us a single message that this happened in your family, but you have time to write such a big chitta from ChatGPT. So of course, like, I told my partner right away that she is lying, and my partner was like, no, she cannot lie about such a big thing. And I was like, I know it for a fact, because my partner hasn't, but I have seen that streak in her. I know that there was something in her body language, something weird in her body language whenever I would try to hold her accountable. Even though before that I had never seen such a streak in her, but like, ever since I started to hold her accountable a little bit, I could sense that thing in her. And she had lately also started to talk back in a very weird manner. And I would always, I'm somebody who cannot sugarcoat things. I have to tell things very honestly as they are. Like, I can't sugarcoat to even save my life. So I told her every time that she would cross the boundary, I would tell her that, maybe not talk to me like that again, because I don't appreciate the tone. So there was this time when she was with me, and we were driving to this client's place to do some shoot. And on the way, previously I was working till a very late hour, so I sent her a list of things to do, and in the morning also I sent her like a reminder that these are the things that you need to do when we are on the way to the client's house. And there were very like little things, like I made a document, and then I asked her to just make the headings bold, and very simple things like these. But she was talking about like what tattoo she wanted to get made, what hair color she wanted to get done, etc. She was talking about everything under the roof but work. So I asked her that, have you completed the work that I asked you to do in the group? And she was like, no, I didn't check, or something of that sort. So of course, I couldn't have just not said anything to her. When I tried to hold her accountable, she talked back, and in a very weird manner that it put me in such a bad mood. And trust me, I wanted to just stop the car and ask her to get out of the car right away. I was so angry, but I did not say anything. But like, it was such an awkward ride. The rest of the ride, it was so awkward. But every time something of this sort happened, I always tried to neutralize it, because I just I don't like to be in that space where you're having negative vibes, or like angry vibes around you. So I would always try to neutralize things. I've been muddling this in such a long time, but like I told you that I am not a multitasker. Well, with certain things I am, but when I'm talking, I need my proper focus. But I'm still trying. And I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but she also had a habit of crying every time I would tell her anything. And like, in the beginning, a few times I did console her. There were times when I even fed her with my own hands. But then this is not sustainable. I can't keep consoling you every time. At the end of the day, we are friends later, but we have a professional relationship first, so you have to keep your emotions in control. And it wasn't like I was beating the shit out of her. There was no reason to cry whatsoever. So like ultimately, like I started telling her that if you keep crying, this is basically you telling me that I cannot say anything to you, and if I cannot say anything to you, then we're both going to be at the same level. You're not going to grow, and then of course ultimately I'm not going to grow, and I don't have time for this. Like I didn't say this thing, but like of course that is what I meant. So cut back to the day when we sent her this ultimatum and she told us that her father had expired. I told my partner that I knew that her father wasn't dead. And then I told my partner to just, leave her a text saying that we would, love to come and see her and be with her and with her family, because we're sure that it's a very difficult time that all of them are going through. So we would love to do that, come see them, and, also take some client handover, because obviously we had client obligations and everything. So even though we hate to bring up work at this time, but it will be easier for you also. We'll come and take the handover ourselves, rather than having you upload everything on the drive or do tons of different stuff. So I asked my partner to send this message so that we could see if she's trying to dodge it or what. And of course she dodged it. She told us that she's not in her hometown, she's in a different city, blah 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 blah. It did not make sense. So a few days passed by and there was no communication. But one fine day I woke up and I told my partner, let's go to her hometown. Of course we had her address and Aadhaar card, etc. So we went to her hometown, and the entire journey my partner was telling me, what if this turns out to be true? And I told him that you need to chill. I know this for a fact that she's lying and we're going to bust her ass. And so we went there and we couldn't find her address for 2 hours, and my partner was getting so impatient and so angry that you don't need to waste your time, there are tons of different things that we need to do. But I was like, this is important, I want to prove myself and I want to bust her ass more than anything, because I just don't want to let her go just like that. She can lie to our faces about such a big thing and just get away with it. I'm not gonna let that happen. And after 2-3 hours we still couldn't find her address, and I just kept telling my partner, please let's just ask one more person. And then ultimately we went to the shop to ask for the address, and the person over there told us that the address was his. So we asked him who he was and what his relationship was with the intern, and he was like, I'm her dad. And he was standing right in front of us. It wasn't a ghost, I promise you. He was standing in front of us, alive, fit and fine. And of course, immediately we knew that she was lying about it. My fears, my doubts, they were all validated within a second. And he called the intern's mom as well, his wife, and she also came to the shop, and he told them that this has happened, that she suddenly stopped showing up at work, and this is what she's told us. As awkward as that was, but to my surprise, both of them, like their reactions were so underwhelming. I'm telling you, like his father was disappointed, as if he was a little disappointed, but like it felt like he was already expecting this, because probably it has been a pattern with his daughter. She probably pulls off such stunts regularly, so he was not surprised, but he was disappointed for sure. And then her mom, she was just it just felt like she was just trying to cover up for her daughter's mistakes. And she was like, oh, she was so overburdened these last few days, and she was having a lot of neck pain, blah blah blah. And she told this to me at least 5-6 times. Every time I would tell her that she shouldn't have done this, she could have told me. Even if she wanted to leave, she could have told me. But her mom kept repeating that, and then ultimately I had to tell her that, auntie, what are you talking about? Like, she was not even completing one task a day. She was taking like 6 hours for a 2-minute job, and I'm not even exaggerating. This has happened, and this has happened various times, where for a 2-minute job she's taken 6 hours, and she was on a payroll. Why would I not get affected? Like, this is not a charity at the end of the day. Like, I do put in a lot of faith in people, and I give them a lot of, show them a lot of patience to catch up. But at the end of the day, this is not a charity, and I'm paying you, and I've put in so much time and effort into you. The first 2 months I literally sat with her every single day for hours together, and I trained her. And what for? If she had to just leave in a just like that, she had to disappear, and that too stating a false this thing about her father's demise. So yeah, the parents' reactions were very underwhelming. I did not expect much from them, but I told them that you have to tell her to show up at the office at 11 a.m. tomorrow to do a proper handover. She was signed in all the accounts of my clients and everything, while by this time I'd already asked them to change the passwords because I was already sensing something wrong, and I had the backup of everything. But of course the point was to hold her accountable, nothing else. So all this time I had all the backup that I needed, but yeah, I still told them that she needs to show up at the office. Then we didn't even exit her hometown yet. We were on the way back, and we left her a message in the group that we got to know that whatever you'd told us about your father's demise, it turned out to be untrue, and no such incident has happened in in the recent days in your family. So we expect you to show up at the office tomorrow at 11 a.m. The same thing that we told her mom, and you need to do a proper handover and a proper resignation and then leave. So she calls me up, and I thought that she would apologize, but to my surprise, her reaction, my God, it took me aback, the way she reacted. She started shouting on me. First of all, she was like, listen, whatever is happening in my family, it's none of your business. This is how she was talking. I was taken aback. I couldn't believe that this is the same girl that I was sitting with every single day in the office, and spending so much time with her, and we've had so much fun together, and she made such a flip. I was completely mind blown. And I told her that, listen, I am not interested in what is happening in your family. All I care about is that you come to the office and you do a proper handover and a proper resignation, and then you're free to leave and free to go wherever you want. And she was like, I am not your slave. I am not your slave. Listen to me. I am not your slave. You have no right to talk to me like that. And in such an ugly manner that I can't even enact, quite honestly. But yeah, I think the phone got disconnected. Then she calls my partner, who was right next to me driving the car, and he was like, you need to, he told him the same, heard the same thing, that you need to come and do the proper handover, etc. and you need to come tomorrow. And she was like, but jo main nahi aa sakti to. And people who don't understand Hindi, she was basically saying that she cannot come tomorrow, and she also said that she will come at whatever date and time suits her, so she'll come at her own convenience whenever she can. And we asked her to take a proper an immediate exit from all the communication groups with our clients on WhatsApp. And she was like, no, I'll do it when I do a proper resignation. That's when I'll do it. How hard is it to just exit a group on WhatsApp? And why was she doing it? Obviously because her ass got busted, and she was getting very defensive at this point. And I think I'm not sure if this fits in here, but chor ki dadi mein tinka, basically that was what was happening over here. And so she was basically just trying to make things as difficult as she could for us. And because she had nothing else to lose at this point, we busted her ass and she had nothing else to lose. And ultimately she sent us a resignation email stating that the reason for her sudden disappearance and abandonment of the role is because of severe mental harassment, which also led to, her suffering physically. Her cervical and all got triggered because of the mental harassment that we were, subjecting her to. And she also said that she was subjected to phrases like, get your shit together and work. And I'll tell you what happened when I told her that she needs to get her shit together and work, because she wasn't able to complete a single task, and she had spent her entire day on it. And I could tell that it was a focus problem. And obviously this was really pinching me, because she was on a payroll and every single day she was just completely wasting. So I had, from the inside, I had made up my mind that after, like, okay, if she does show like a proper improvement, and mind you, I was telling her that you don't need to go from 1 to 10, you only need to go from 1 to 2 at a time. I just need to see that. But like, she was getting poorer and poorer with her work, and I could tell that she was just not interested in working. She was only here for the dance and fun and all the, you know, good things, and she didn't want to do anything serious. But this time that you know, she spent such a long time on one single task, like the entire day, I was trying to hold her accountable, and she started crying on the phone. It was a work from home day, and that's when I told her, because I was tired of consoling her. Every time I would try to hold her accountable, she would cry. I was tired of that. So I told her that you need to get your shit together and complete your work, and we'll talk after the work. That is what I told her. So she manipulated it in her own words, and she, in the email, she said that she was, you know, subjected to phrases like get your shit together and work, and, you know, stuff like that. And what physical health is she talking about? Literally, here I was telling her to get up after every 2 hours and stretch, you know, and I told her that both of us would get together after every 1 or 2 hours and do some stretching exercises, and we did it for 2-3 days together. Basically, I was trying to help her with everything and anything that I could. Like, literally, there have been times where she had to go somewhere after office, but she was getting very late, and she was not you know, finding cab in time. Like, her cab wasn't arriving in time, so I offered to drop her. And so basically, there were like little things that I was doing for her, which you know, it was evident that we were caring for her over here. So like, whatever she stated in her resignment, it was completely false and manipulated, and it was so fucking heartbreaking. Like, for days together, every day that I was getting up in the morning, I was in such a weird mood, because this is the first thought that was coming to my mind every single day. Because obviously, if you've treated somebody so well, and you know, this is what they do to you in return, it's just absolutely heartbreaking and just very upsetting. And then for many days I was very, very upset, and I myself didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was in a very weird state mentally. But the lesson from this is to have clearer boundaries with your interns and employees. As much, you know, as I love to be friendly and dance and sing and do things, there has to be a clearer boundary. And secondly, I have to understand that I'm not running a charity here. So I need to, you know, let go of people if they're not performing. Like, I'm not going to show so much faith in them, because the world does not deserve it in this time, you know. On another note, this smells so refreshing already, like, where many ingredients in, but I'm making such a mess because this should have been done a little more quickly than the pace that I'm working on right now. But let's get on to the third horror story. And the third horror story is the emotional bill of entrepreneurship, and nobody talks about this, but there are no paid leaves, there's no switch off button, there are no sick leaves. And you know, there have been days when I've woken up, looked at myself in the mirror and told myself that I cannot do this anymore. But stepping away is just not an option. I know that even if I don't show up for a few hours, it's going to, you know, lead to huge losses, because the phase that I am in right now, I have such a small team and so much burden is on myself alone. I don't, you know, there are a lot of things that I do with my own hand right now. So I just cannot, like, I know that if I snooze, I lose. I'm sure that it might not be the same for everybody, but like, everybody's situation is very different. And I am in a very difficult position right now. I'm just, as much as I hate to admit it, it is what it is. I love doing what I do, so don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but this is just the, you know, the other side of entrepreneurship, or, you know, being a founder of a small business. Especially, you pay taxes, you pay rent, you pay salaries, and there's always this thing at the back of your mind that you have to, no matter what, you have to have certain amount of money inflow to be able to, you know, take out all of these running expenses, these operational expenses. And trust me, with the studio of our size and in the area that we're in, the running costs are extremely high. And it's a very volatile industry, if I may say so. So you always have to be on your toes. As much as I love doing it, sometimes I just want to take a break and do nothing, but it's been years that hasn't really been an option for me. So I was a full-time content creator back then, and that is still one of my major sources of income. But I'll be honest, that did take a backseat because so much of my time and effort was going in Oat Milk Social that I was just not able to focus on that, and that did lead to lesser posting, and then of course lesser reach, lesser consistency, and lesser projects. So there was a time when I was getting tons and tons of projects. Every single day there were so many queries, and I was doing so many projects per month. But it's not the same anymore because I can't blame anybody else for that or any situation for that, but like the fact is that it did take a backseat because of Oat Milk Social. So that is something that I feel really, really guilty about, more than I can ever express. And you know what? I really miss my freedom from the days when I was just a content creator, because even though that is also a full-time small business, but still, you have so much freedom. I could sit whenever I wanted to, I could sleep whenever I wanted to, I could wake up whenever I wanted to. Basically I could do everything. I had all the freedom in the world. So I'll tell you about one incident that happened, and you'll get an idea of the kind of challenges that we face. And these challenges are very real, by the way. So we went to Kasauli, which is just like, hardly a 2-hour drive from our place. But we went there only for a night so that we could rejuvenate a little, and it had been many months together that we hadn't taken any vacation, any break at all. Didn't even have a single free day, if I may say so. So we thought that we'd just go for a night and just rejuvenate and come back the next day. But we had a shoot happening the next day. And the previous night also there was a shoot happening. So we just wanted to make sure that the studio staff who was supposed to open up the studio for the shoot and take care that everything is in place. The person who was responsible for that, he stopped picking up our calls, and he was that's the downside of having such a small team, because there's just one or a maximum of 2 people that you're relying on. And in our case, it was just one person, and he stopped picking up our calls and he ghosted us. And then after a while, his phone was switched off, and we were basically calling him to make sure that he set up an alarm, because the shoot was happening at 9, and because there was a shoot the previous day also, there was a lot of things were all over the place over here. So he was supposed to come 2 hours prior, so he had to come at 7 o'clock, and then the shoot was starting at 9. He stopped picking up the phone, and we spent all efforts, all money we spent on booking that resort, it all got wasted, the time that we spent traveling and everything, because we literally could not do anything over there, guys. By 6 or 7 o'clock, we had packed our bags and we were ready to go the next morning. At 4 o'clock, we left, and before 7 o'clock, we were here at the studio and we were scrubbing toilets and, basically setting the entire studio. And then of course, because we need a help full time over here when the shoot is also happening, because there's a lot of work to do, assisting the clients and all, but there was nobody. And while we should be focusing on bigger things, we were focusing on scrubbing toilets and filling water bottles and little things that I don't mind doing, but as a founder, you cannot do everything by hand, right? There are various things that you have to take care of. And if you start doing everything with your own hands, it's just very difficult to grow and focus on growth, basically. And the lesson that I have learned from this is that I love my freedom and I want it back. This is something that I've realized, probably it was important for me to go through it to understand what I really want. What I want is freedom, and that's only going to come with, you know, some structure over here. So I have to make sure that in 2026 I'm forming some structure over here, so that I can have some structure in my overall life and have the freedom that I've lost, have the freedom back, because that's really like the biggest thing. Like, that is what I loved about my life the most. I could go rescue an animal whenever I wanted to, whenever, you know, there was a need, and I could also, you know, go and sit in a cozy cafe whenever I could, and I really want that back for myself. So I think 2026 is going to be all about setting some structures and getting my lovely freedom back. So this brings me to my last and final horror story of 2025. Like I told you, that content creation for me did take a backseat, and I am really not proud of it. I thought that I could handle both, but I think it's very evident that I cannot multitask. So I was not able to handle both. I was either doing this or that, but like I was not able to find that balance and, you know, manage both equally. So if I was focusing on Oat Milk Social, I'd just be, you know, have a tunnel vision for a while and just, you know, be at Oat Milk Social. But if I am working on my content creation business or profile, I was only focusing on that, and then this was getting ignored. And as a result, because of course I was paying rents here, and, you know, there were such big operational costs and all involved, obviously, like I gave most of my focus over here, and I'm really not proud of it, because content creation is something that I've been doing since the 12 years. I belong to the first generation of bloggers, even though I feel like I've been left behind, because, you know, I just probably made the wrong decisions. But I think whatever happens for the best. But you know, as a result, I was posting less, and like I told you, I was getting lesser projects, and the reach was consistently dropping. Right now my reach is at an all-time low, and, you know, it just wasn't working out. Every time I would post a piece of content, I would just feel less, you know, I was just feeling some kind of way, because it was not performing well, no matter how well the content was shot and, you know, how well it was thought through. It just wasn't, you know, performing at all on Instagram, because I think Instagram just started punishing me for my inconsistency. And it's still the same. I'm trying to revive my page one post at a time, but I'm still so inconsistent. But in 2026, I've made up my mind that I'm going to focus here more. Like I said in my previous horror story, that I'm going to create some structures over here so that I can focus on this, because this is what I absolutely love doing more than anything else. So this has to go, you know, side by side, and I have to, you know, make sure that I am doing right by it, basically. So I think the lesson that I've learned from this is to be more consistent in 2026 and show up here and on Instagram more often than I have in the past 2-3 years, and revive my page and, you know, start creating content that I have always wanted to, because in the last few years I've really changed as a person. There is so much that I want to share, and I keep writing all of these ideas and all, but then I keep forgetting, or like when the time comes for me to, you know, start doing it, I'm just so overwhelmed with work that I just don't feel like doing it. But like, I have to make sure, like even right now I was this close to giving up, but then I thought, no, I have to, you know, set aside a few hours and do this. So I'm going to continue doing that in 2026. I think that was all for this video, guys. I am ready with my garden spritz. There are some pending final touches. I love parsley and some black pepper in it. I love that now I can focus on just one task. So we're just left with some garnishing. Actually forgot to put one ingredient, and that's jalapenos, but it still smells divine. Whew, wow, spicy. It smells so spicy and refreshing. Spicy as ever. Love it. Happy 2026, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and if anything resonated, it would be lovely if you could leave a comment. And I'm going to enjoy this cocktail with my partner now, and I'll see you in my next video.